Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from the NURBURGRING GP. 3.15 miles around this famous race course, 16 turns. And tonight's format, again, 20-minute sprint races. This is race 6 of 10 of this season. My name is Adam Baker. I'm up here in the booth tonight. I've got a special guest. You might know him. Safe Fair is here, a driver who raced in this league, also from below the Double Yellow Cup Series, and one of our Team Red Speed drivers. Safe, how's it going tonight?
Yeah, not too bad, Adam. Thank you for having me up here in the booth. I'm really excited to be joining you here. First time ever that I get to do something like this, and really interested to see how these guys are gonna throw a really good race for us tonight in the Nürburgring.
Yeah, this track is, it's so famous and historic. The 24-hour race, of course, not on this version of the circuit, but on the, the big boy, the big 8+ minute racetrack. And I know you've done some racing there. I know you've raced with a lot of these guys. You expecting a little bit of chaos here tonight, or you think these guys are going to be able to keep it clean here tonight?
Well, the biggest game factor for these guys in order for them to make passes or gains, and I can see a lot of dive bombs happening, would be turn 1. A lot of guys are carrying a lot of momentum and a lot of speed going into that turn. Braking is going to be a little bit tricky while they figure out where the best braking zone should be and make a clean pass to the inside, or even on the outside. You can actually do that on this track. I'm excited to see how these guys are going to deploy different tactics and see some awesome races happening tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for the battles that we're about to see. The first 5 races have brought some incredible finishes and really, a lot of fun side-by-side racing action. This is race 6, and we've had a total of 3 different winners. Darren Treacle won at Daytona a few weeks back. Christopher Hill, of course, has dominated this season so far, but he's having some shifter issues, which could hold him back a little bit tonight, and that is going to be very interesting. Of course, Steve Ficacci finally returning to the top step of the podium in last week's race. So we'll see if he can do it again tonight. Let's take a look at our starting grid here from the Nürburgring for race number 6. It's going to be Jonathan de Koocher, I believe, rolling off from the pole position, so congrats to him on that. He takes the top spot, had a good couple races last week as well. And he's going to be joined on the front row by Darren Treacle, who's returning back after a week off. So Darren going to round out the front row here. Row 2 is going to be Christopher Hill in third. Rafael Torres, who's had a lot of speed, he'll roll off in fourth. Fifth tonight, Michael Pavolano. Adam Pohl starts from sixth. Jesse Brannon in seventh. Aspen Belvin, who's been very strong in his rookie season here in the league, going to roll off from eighth. Reed Wilson ninth. Brian Kennedy rounds out the top 10. 11th is Dean Tulane. 12th, Stefan Vappa. 13th, Callan Crocker. 14th, Justin Craig. 15th, Aaron Dietrich. 16th, Clint Fletcher. 17th is Scott Kim. 18th, Mike Nickum. 19th, Donnie Isley. And Berkant Gandogdu in 20th. 21st tonight, Robert Benson. So a little smaller field for these guys, but should be all right. Still 21 cars out here.
Oh, even with 21 cars, you bet this race is going to be extremely exciting. These guys are just going to be throwing the cars left and right. Turn 7, turn 13, those are another tricky places where you're going to see a lot of passes, a lot of maneuvers. And those turns, you really got to shift down to get a good grip coming into the corner and get a good exit. You did mention Christopher Hill having some shifter issues earlier. Hopefully he got it fixed. If not, that would be something that you should be looking at and see how he's going to manage and maybe finish in the top 3-4 positions if he can actually do that.
Yeah, he did have some issues late in the second sprint race last week, which ultimately cost him the win, and he finished in 5th, I believe, in that race. He had to give up quite a few spots. Had trouble downshifting and upshifting a couple times to, get back up to speed out of some of the corners. But we'll see if he has fixed it here tonight. The pace car is going to make the hard right-hand turn onto pit road, and you can see the track map down there on the bottom right of your screen. Going to be fun here tonight from the Green Hell, as they call it here, the Nürburgring GP. 20-minute sprint race number 1 about to get underway. It's in the hands of Jonathan de Koocher here tonight. And green flag in the air. We're off and away. The BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League race number 6. Side by side, battled into turn 1. Koocher almost giving it up here. Treacle battling to the driver's left. Good side by side battle. Contact behind. I think that was Adam Pohl going around. Yeah, it looks like Adam Pohl with issues early on here. Let's see if we can go back and look at the replay. He got turned around along with Jesse Brannon. Oh, he just lost it. I'll clip the 333. Everybody else makes it through. He just lost it under braking there.
Yeah, start of the race, cold tires, trying to understand how much braking pressure you got to do to take a turn. Unfortunately for him, cold tires, you end up with a spin.
Yeah,
great job by everyone avoiding it.
Yeah, really nice job to avoid that in a difficult part of the racetrack to do so. We've got a battle now for the race lead. Treacle out in front. He won at Daytona, won both of the sprint races there, and has really been the biggest challenger to Christopher Hill in the top 3, pulling away from the 101 right now, who, I would think maybe has missed the shift already or maybe had a shifter problem to be that far back. He's a driver you expect to be right up there in the mix. But how about this? Here goes de Koocher now looking to driver's left, peeks back, down in behind. Almost gives him a bumper there. Rafael Torres in line with those guys. I know you race the M8s, but how do these M4s really drive? Have you had much experience in these, or any thoughts on how these drive compared to what they drove last season?
I feel like the M4s have little downforce in comparison to the M8s. So that's why braking with these cars is a little bit tricky. So you got to understand these cars more than the M8. M8, you can just throw the car into corners and onto the curbs with no issues or fear that you're going to be spinning this car. We got a crash here.
Oh, de Koocher with problems. The race leader, or right up there at the front of the field. He's got to figure out how to get a safe re-entry. Let's go take a look at what happened to him here. Maybe. Oh, gets hit by Torres. And I know they're going to start cracking down on contact in this league. That's been a real point of contention amongst some of the drivers. And Torres has had his fair share of run-ins. So we'll see if they crack down and give him any kind of a penalty here following the event tonight. But that is going to cost Koocher really any shot at a good finish in sprint race number 1. But it's going to give a little bit of breathing room now to Darren Treacle. As you look out the back there, that gap over 2 seconds. And I think just a little miscalculation there by Torres, just charged the corner a little bit too hard, it looked like.
Yeah, I think he saw a window where he can just sneak his nose in, trying to intimidate his fellow driver there, just to give him some room. Unfortunately, there wasn't any room there, and he was already committed, and unfortunately, that occurred.
Yep. And unfortunately, Koocher goes around. Taking a look at Callan Crocker up 9 positions. So already the biggest mover here and closing in on Christopher Hill. Must be a good track for Callan, who I believe was off last week as well. So good to see him back. But already starting to space out amongst all of these drivers. You can see just so much room. Nobody really battling side by side at the moment. But that is going to be bound to change. Just 4 minutes ticking over here in the first sprint race. Oh, a little lockup farther up. Stefan Vapa, I think. He's closing in on Dean Tulin. Vapa's been very quick, up 5 positions here. It looks like Torres might be starting to track down Darren Treacle just a little bit. That gap is under 1.8 seconds. And what do you know about tire conservation in these things? Is it something, you know, the harder you go, you're really going to burn your tires up? Or are these cars pretty good at you know, keeping the tires cool with all the ducting and venting that they've got?
Well, with the track like the Nürburgring and how many fast corners you're taking, and also factoring in the temperature of the track, with these guys only running a 20-minute stint each, tire wear is not a big of a factor, plus they're burning fuel. Basically, the biggest thing is you don't want to lose the back end of the car as the session progresses. You just gotta, again, work with the brakes on a track like the Nürburgring.
Yeah, and driver who had issues there early on with braking, he's right now in 16th. That's Adam Pohl. Jesse Brandon, who got collected right there in front of him. These guys racing for that final point. You know, in sprint race number 1, only the top 15 do earn points here. Another battle a little farther up. Clint Fletcher, Mike Nickum, 13th and 14th, nose to tail through the final chicane there as they head towards the kind of hairpin corner. On board with Clint Fletcher as he makes the sweeping right-hander onto the front straightaway. And they hit speeds upwards of 140 miles an hour before they have to get down onto the brakes. And he's got a little draft right here. Makes a move to driver's right, dives it down into turn number 1. And really good job there to get it slowed up and not slide out, but they're still side by side through turn 2. This is the battle for 13th, and Clint Fletcher is going to take it. Going to take it right away from Mike Nickum. And Nickum maybe going to fall into the clutches of Jesse Brannon. Meanwhile, up towards the front, looks like Callan Crocker still closing in on Christopher Hill. Rafael Torres has chopped the lead down now, 1.5 seconds. It was over 2. That's 777 is on the move.
Yeah, you can tell Darren is not overdriving his car. He's just keeping it consistent right between the edges of the track. Not pushing the issue. He doesn't have any pressure at the moment. He sees that he has a 1.5 second gap right now. Let's see how Rafael does. He's running as consistent as Darren, and he might track him down in the last 5 minutes of the session, unless Darren actually makes a mistake. So far, so good for these two guys. Christopher Hill, he's in 3rd place. With the shifter issues, he's running well right now. I don't see these issues actually arising and giving him any problems, so good, consistent third place at the moment.
Yeah, and he's going to be well ahead in the championship. So, you know, if he can still manage just pretty much top fives, I think for the remainder of the races, I think he'll come away with this season's championship. Already multiple sprint race wins. I think he's up to 7 in total out of the first 10. So that's how dominating he's been. There's been multiple nights where he's never relinquished the lead. He's just been so good, and the only thing holding him back, I think, right now is that shifter issue. But managing very well at the moment. How about Brian Kennedy in 5th, up from 10th starting position? Good start to the night for him. Stefan Vapa, and I think we have issues farther back. Mike Pavlano off the racetrack, the 77 machine. Or sorry, that's the 11 machine. Oh, and he's losing it again.
Oh.
Superheated the tires, I think. Let's go take a look at what happened to him. Justin Craig, Clint Fletcher also having problems. So let's go back. Back end got light and went around. I think Justin Craig. Oh, there's a pass that happened right there. These guys have been racing up since that moment. Go back live. He's lost the position to Clint Fletcher and also Scott Kim in his new paint scheme. Up here running in the top 10. Good night for Scott so far. Up from 17th.
Started in 17th and made his way up to 10th. That's a good run for him. Now, who would that be?
Fletcher.
Clint Fletcher. He's coming on the outside of him. He might actually complete the pass here.
Yeah,
He
Scott.
does.
One thing I've noticed about Scott, he's very courteous. He'll give you all the room in the world. Wait for you to go out there, burn up your tires, and make a mistake, and he might be able to track you back down. But they are now kind of in a line of 5 race cars from Fletcher in 10th all the way back to Adam Pohl in 15th. Jesse Brannon, Mike Nickum, Justin Craig all in that line. So this could get pretty crazy around here as up at the front. Oh, here, wait, we've got to move. Like Brannon took a peek to the inside of Mike Nickum, but not able to make it work there out of the final corner. At the front of the field, things pretty spaced out. Rafael Torres about 2 seconds off of Darren Treacle, so he's kind of stabilized there and not been able to close in. How about this? Almost 3 wide, though.
Oh, contact.
Was that Brannon that got pushed off the racetrack a little bit right there? Adam Pohl able to pass him up. A little farther back, Robert Benson, Michael Pavlano swapping positions. Trying to catch that action, but Scott Kim now, he's fallen off the back bumper of Clint Fletcher. He's got Justin Craig now looking to the driver's left, and he'll send it down in the corner. Scott a little bit squirrely under the braking. And that'll...
Scott came on the radio, and he wasn't happy with Justin dive-bombing him onto turn 1. Some aggression and some words being exchanged at the moment.
Yeah, and it almost looked more like Scott checked up early and everybody else braked later, and he is obviously struggling a little bit. Here comes Adam Pohl, who's moved up to 13th. He's gotten around Jesse Brannon and Mike Nickum. And right behind them is Jonathan Koocher, who had his problems as well, was running up towards the front. Got 3 drivers in this group that started in the top 7 and now find themselves outside the top 12. So that is, these guys are going to be hungry to get some track position back before the race ends. As Justin Craig now leads this line of race cars outside the top 10. Looking for any battles farther up. Aaron Dietrich putting pressure on Reed Wilson. This is for 7th. And Aaron just looking, I think, for a solid night. He's had some good speed, top 10 speed each and every week, and seems to find issues occasionally, and just looking for a couple clean races here, I think. It's hard, to get back into those consistent finishes if you've been, finding trouble week after week. So we'll see what he can do.
So far, he's been catching up 7th and 6th place. He's been tracking them down by 0.5 to 0.7 a lap, and we're going to see a battle brewing up between these 3 cars momentarily.
Yeah, Vapa, who started 12th, has moved up to 6th. Reed Wilson up 2 positions into 7th. And then Aaron Dietrich right here, he's up 7 positions. So one of the biggest movers He and Callan Crocker, I think the two biggest movers. Also Quint Fletcher up 6 positions. So it's important to get a good finish in Sprint Race 1 because you start Sprint Race 2 where you finish in this first one. So if you want a lot of points, you want to finish towards the front in both of them, but at least you want to give yourself a better opportunity for Race 2. As those guys continuing to run single file for the moment, a little farther back, Jonathan Koocher has gotten around Mike Nickum. He sets his sights on Scott Kim. So Scott was up there in the top 10 just 2 laps ago. He finds himself 13th and fading. You think he might have burned his stuff up?
I saw on a replay Jonathan Koocher actually got into Mike Nickum and turned him just a little bit. Mike obviously lost a few positions there. No, sorry, it wasn't Mike. It was Jesse Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. Yeah, he's lost some spots.
Yeah, he lost about 3 positions right there with that contact. But I'm seeing probably a battle that's going to start right here with 7th position, Reed Wilson. He's still applying pressure on Stephen Vapa. Vapa is not yielding, not letting him go by. I'm going to see him dive bombing it probably into turn 1 at this lap.
Yeah, able to get it checked up there, trying to get that car set up for the next couple of corners, but that gap, yeah, under half a second from Stefan Vapa in 6th, Reed Wilson 7th, Aaron Dietrich behind them in 8th. They're all spaced out 4 to 5 tenths. And then Dean Tulane about a second and a half back, just waiting for those guys to get together, most likely. Scott Kim just lost a spot to Jonathan Koocher, so he continues to fall here late in this race. Only 5.5 minutes left. And then Mike Nickum behind him, going to try and capitalize on the struggles of the 7-Eleven machine. Then Brandon loses another spot. Pabolano able to get by him, so not a good start to the night for Brandon, who qualified 7th but finds himself 17th, going the wrong direction right now with probably a little bit of damage and a little bit of hurt feelings as well. But a driver moving forward, closing in on the race leader. That is Rafael Torres. Cuts the gap now down to 1 second. You think we'll see a battle for the race lead? I mean, he's closing at a pretty good clip right now.
Yeah, that last lap, he just caught 3/10 of a second. Oh!
Just about missed the corner, and that'll cost him all that he gained on the previous lap, and then some. Oh, man, we jinxed him. I jinxed him.
The broadcaster to jinx right there.
But Torres, of course, early on, I think a little bit of contact, right, with Koocher, and finds himself up here still in 2nd, trying to get as many points as he can, but we'll see if there's any repercussions, as I think maybe problems for Stefan Vapa. Oh, yeah, let's go back here. So the 97 machine side by side there gets hit, turned around, able to keep it pointed in the right direction.
And we got problems in turn 1. Dienthal just got turned.
Oh man, Dean Tulane there. Yep, off of Stefan Vapa. So, a couple of rough corners for Stefan Vapa. But Tulane stuck right in the middle of the racetrack. Side by side now, Clint Fletcher and Justin Craig battling inside the top 10. Behind them, Adam Pohl. He's almost recovered back in the top 10, and Koocher right there with him. And guys, just hoping they have a shot at least in race 2. I think they're going to be too far back here. Only 3 minutes left, and really, the best they can do is about 7th or 8th position. So still a lot of work to do for them. What else? Yeah, I mean, Koocher is right here. I think he's a little bit faster than Adam Pohl, so we'll see if he stays patient or if he starts to force the issue here. And they are carrying some serious speed up the hill right here as they get back on the brakes hard, 140 miles an hour, down to 80 miles an hour, then back to the right, downhill. And he is all over Adam Pohl. This is as close as it gets.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. With a tight turn coming up, who's going to yield? He thinks twice about it and just backs off.
Yeah, they all stay in line here through the chicane. Koocher right there, maybe setting up for the next couple corners. Goes a little wide on entry, but might be able to get that nice run off. I think just a little too far back, and they all have the benefit of the draft other than Justin Craig. But he's got a nice little gap over Fletcher there. Maybe some problems for the 10 as he gets up through the gears. That'll give a little breathing room to the 208. And Koocher looks to driver's left. Not going to be able to get to the quarter panel of the 17 of Adam Pohl. But this could get interesting. They're going to have, I think, one more lap after this. And, you know, they're all going to push it. And when it comes to the white flag, there's no holds barred. So I expect
last lap, it's everyone to themselves. Their respects are out. They want to gain as much as they can. This league, I like how the guys understand one another and they anticipate what's going to happen. It's pretty much a great community. However, when it comes to racing and last laps, it's all hands on deck and everybody's a foe.
Yeah. And I know these guys though do they want clean racing, and there's been some issues, like I said, over the last few weeks. Some of the drivers not too happy with the performances of other drivers, so there are, I think, going to be some more penalties if these guys start making unnecessary contact. So if they're going to do it, they've got to do it clean tonight. I know there's an eye on every incident. The top three well out in front. Brian Kennedy 7.5 seconds off of Christopher Hill. The white flag should be coming out right now for Darren Treacle, who has all but dominated this event. He's led every single lap. After starting in second, he got around Koocher basically in turn one and has not looked back. And luckily, got a little bit of breathing room from the contacts that Torres made with Koocher in the 9 machine. But he's doing a fantastic job, nice and smooth out here. Has not really given up too much time as Torres goes wide there. Torres trying to make up 2 seconds. I just don't think that's physically possible at this point.
Yeah, he did a great job the last 3 laps, trying to cut that deficit that he lost by locking up the brakes into turn 13, down to 1.8 seconds. However, last lap, I don't see him catching up to him unless Darren makes a mistake.
Yeah, everybody up here in the top 3 though doing a fantastic job. Another set of great races here throughout the field. Adam Pohl still feeling the pressure from Jonathan Koocher, and then Clint Fletcher not been able to catch back up to Justin Craig. So this all going on just around the top 10 positions. Darren Treacle still out in front with the white flag in the air. He'll have a couple more corners to go as he approaches the chicane. So shift down. No problem.
We got contact further back, 15th place, Scott Kim and Mike Nickham. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, Scott Kim off the racetrack. We'll go back in a second here. Darren Treacle out of the final corner. He's going to win sprint race number 1 tonight from the Nürburgring in dominating fashion, just like he did at Daytona. So back up on the top step of the podium. Let's take a look here at Scott Kim and what happened to him a few moments ago. Racing up with Mike Nickham. Oh, just overshot it. Got in the grass, collected the 57. And Nickham, I think he lets him back go or back by. So respectful of Scott Kim after he cost them both multiple positions. But that is what happened right there. Maybe a little controversial, but Darren Treacle wins sprint race 1. Then Rafael Torres second. Christopher Hill will round out the podium here. Let's see what our biggest mover was. How about Aaron Dietrich up 9 positions? We'll call him driver of the race in sprint race 1. Let's see if we can get him in the booth for a quick chat. What? He is not in the Discord. We'll have to go with somebody else. How about second biggest mover? gonna be Callan Crocker up 8 positions. Is also not here.
All the ones that we want to talk to are not
Yep,
here.
yep. How it often goes. Able to see where they ended up now. So we'll get.
How about Brian Kennedy? He managed to finish fourth, came through the field and got a decent finish.
Yeah, let's get Brian in here then. Brian Kennedy, Adam, and Safe in the V-Speed booth. Here, you got a copy.
Oh, I have a copy. I was on mute, sorry.
Well, Brian, interesting race up there for sprint race number 1, up in the top 5. I know you had a pretty solid, clean race. How'd it feel for you, and what did you learn here for race number 2?
Yeah, I mean, I was exceeded what I expected to do. My pace is a little off tonight. Well, I think I've qualified P10, but just wanted to be consistent and clean and hope that other people make mistakes, and that's what happened. So do the same thing for race 2, hopefully.
Yep, and you've had a pretty solid season overall. Nice to see you with a good, clean race there, and off and away here for race number 2. So best of luck out there, and see if you can get up on the podium to close things out.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. That is Brian Kennedy. We'll call him driver of race number 1. That'll wrap up that first segment here. We're going to go to the halftime break, and we'll hear a couple words from our sponsors before we come back for race number 2. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV area. Check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lagers, sours, stouts, and even seltzers. Savory and delicious empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in their tap room. For all things Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com and follow at Beltway Brew Co. on social media. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. All right, and back at the racetrack now, about to get things going here for sprint race number 2. If you're just joining us, this is the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, race number 6 tonight from the Nürburgring GP track. Sponsors of this series, SEO Mike and Beltway Brewing Company. Want to give a big shout out to them and their support of this series. If you want to learn more about them, check out the links in the video description. If you are enjoying the broadcast, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Check us out on our other social media platforms. We're on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can learn and stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week by following us on those platforms. And shout out who you think is going to win tonight's race, who you're rooting for here in sprint race number 2. Looks like the sun has gone down a little bit more in this one, and we've got the headlights on. That's going to be interesting to see how that affects the way these guys drive here. You know, it's a little bit different, right? Your depth perception changes when the light changes, and what do you think? I don't really know exactly what the difference is racing at night. Maybe these guys get a little bit more aggressive, though, or maybe they're more conservative.
There's definitely going to be more grip, and with more grip, people are going to be they're going to give it all when it comes to braking. Braking is the key in this track. I'm going to look at Torres probably dive bombing it under Darren to take the lead right from the beginning.
Yeah, let's see what he can do here. Very fast, a little bit faster, I think, than the 70 in race 1, but could never close the gap. Green flag in the air for sprint race number 2 from the Nürburgring as they head down into turn number 1. Side by side, 3 wide for the race lead. And he is there. Torres trying to take the lead away. Here comes Christopher Hill as well. Torres takes the top spot, and Treacle get it back. Not able to, as Christopher Hill now side by side with him. Is this just a chance for that 777 to run away and hide as behind them? This is crazy back here. The 208 of Justin Craig went really wide outside the top 10 as he tries to claw back a few more positions here. A little bobble there from Pavolano to his right side, and they're going to go side by side, almost a moment between those two into the corner there, but no problems yet. Nobody's gone around, I think, at this point, as Torres has a pretty good gap. Christopher Hill holding up Darren Treacle.
Looks like Christopher has figured out the issue with his shifter, and he's running consistent now, running P2, passing Darren, the winner of race 1. This is going to be a 3-horse battle between these three for sure.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy last race was about this distance at the beginning and just not quite enough pace, every lap to keep up. How about Darren now making a move to driver's right? Not close enough, though. He'll back out of it. And really slow through that chicane, actually, giving a lot of room to the 101. Maybe he's trying to leave room knowing that Chris could have some problems getting through the gears and he doesn't want to run right over him. But gave him plenty of space that time. As Jesse Brand and Clint Fletcher go side by side on the front stretch here. This for the 10th position. It'll be a drag race down into turn number 1. And it looks like Brannon, good job on the brakes there, able to almost get around, but here comes Fletcher, going to power back to driver's left. And this is where we've seen so many problems with the back end coming out from underneath, but still side by side.
That was really close between both of them. You can barely fit a hair between them.
And it looks like Brannon, trying to clear himself, pushes Fletcher off the track. And Fletcher not going to be too happy about that. I think these guys have had issues before, too. He's got Miley Cyrus on the wrecking ball there. I know he was talking about one specific driver, I believe, throughout the week that they had some troubles. He said he didn't have any issues, but Miley might have some issues. So we'll see if he if that car finds any trouble here in sprint race number 2. So far, keeping it clean enough as they go a little bit wide off in the dirt there. Rafael Torres leads the way now, 0.8 of a second. Christopher Hill in P2, and Darren Treacle rounding out the podium for the moment. So kind of just flip-flopped from how we finished race number 1.
Yeah, you can tell Rafael, he was feeling the confidence and he was feeling comfortable with this car. Unfortunately, he had an issue with this particular turn where he lost the chance to battle for the lead. Right now, he's got control of it and looking to extend the gap between him and Christopher at the moment.
And he is maintaining and slightly pulling away lap time. That time by actually a 10th slower, I believe. Yeah, it looks like a 10th slower than Christopher Hill. So Christopher doing what he can to just maintain that distance. And you can see it's right hovering around 0.8 of a second. And then Darren Treacle right there, 2 car lengths off the 101. Brian Kennedy not falling back. He's maintaining right here with these top 4. And then Callan Crocker continuing his good night. Right where he started in 5th. Reed Wilson, strong race here in 6th. Started 7th. And Aaron Dietrich, who's been up in the mix in the top 10 all race long. Stefan Vappa, who's had to climb and claw his way forward at points tonight in 8th. Adam Pohl 9th, and Jesse Brannon rounds out the top 10. But side by side, he and Fletcher once again. Man, they are just racing so hard here for that 10th position.
Yeah, these guys for the past lap and a half, just watching them, they're just not giving each other any breathing room, just going at it. Good hard racing.
Issues for Brian Kennedy, who just rejoined in front of them. But yeah, this is getting crazy here. Look at Dean Tooling right in the mix. And issues as that looked like Brandon went way up on the curb. But we saw problems for Brian Kennedy. I'm going to go to the replay really quick and see what happened to the 77. I think might have just overcooked it a little bit. And yeah, started to lose the back, went off in the sand all the way to the wall. Oh, wow.
That's a hard hit.
May have some steering problems after that. Cost him quite a few spots. And still up here in 9th, so you got to give him credit. But how about this? Fletcher 10th. He's got Brandon all over him here. He's throwing a block down into the final corner. These guys just throwing haymakers, as they say. And they're going to be side by side on the front stretch. Oh my goodness, this is the battle to watch. This has been so exciting back here.
None of them are giving.
Oh, and here comes Michael Pavolano, going to stick his nose in underneath Dean Tulane, but still side by side. Clint Fletcher, he is not going to give it up. A little tap to the brakes right there. Keeps it alongside. There goes Brandon on by, though. Oh, Fletcher almost gets into him. Wow, this is good stuff here. This is just in the mid-pack, but up towards the front, things might be getting a little spicy up there, too. Darren Treacle still towards the back bumper of Christopher Hill. Keep an eye on the distance there. And oh, big wiggle from Pavolano. Hangs on to it. This is fun to watch. These three now have kind of broken away. We got a couple groups of three. But man, Jesse Brandon, Clint Fletcher, they've put on the show of the night so far. Those two have just been racing so hard, pushing each other.
How about that save by Pavolano? He got his tires all the way into the grass or the curb, lost the back end, went into the corner sideways, and yet managed to keep it together. What a great job saving that car.
Oh my goodness, we're looking back at it. Full drift mode right there. I know you put those little videos together with the Tokyo Drift theme song. That might be another one for you. But
we definitely know Faircloth. He's the one who gets happy when he hears Tokyo Drift.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. As the top three closing back in, Christopher Hill actually making up some ground. Rafael Torres starting to maybe feel a little bit of that pressure, maybe burned his stuff up. As here goes Darren Treacle, going to send it down and gets to the bumper, the 101. All kinds of battles here in race 2.
The sun goes down, track temperatures go low, more grip, more confidence by these drivers. Lots of good hard racing happening.
Pavolano looks to driver's right on Aspen Belvin in the Dale Earnhardt scheme. He's been rocking that since Daytona. And he had a really great podium finish in that race, and he's had some good success. Right now, not his best running position that he's seen this season, but 14th, still in the points. And solidly around these guys. Could find himself up a few spots before things are all said and done, as Fletcher and Brandon continue to battle it out. These guys won't quit it. Oh, and there's a little bumper action. The 333 of Brandon gets into Clint Fletcher. Harmless little bump right there as Aspen Belvin, Michael Pavolano continue to fight it out. Oh, so tight there through that right-hander. And they stay side by side. No positions really being changed.
Trouble with Christopher Hill. He's off the track. He hit the wall.
Oh, no. Problems, yeah, for the 101. Let's go back. He does have a lot of damage. I think he's got steering damage, too. That car looks broken. Let's see what happened to him. Just overshot it, got in the dirt, in the grass, hard to... Oh, big pancake on the wall there.
And he brings it into the pits to get it fixed.
That'll break up that top three battle. That moves Darren Treacle to second with a straight shot at Rafael Torres. Hill's going to fall quite a bit here. This is not what he needed. This will actually close the points up, I think, quite a bit. And Callan Crocker now moves on to the podium.
Yeah,
Good.
Christopher Hill had an advantage of 27 points coming into tonight's race. Those points are definitely he's gonna lose a lot of points after that incident.
Yeah, they'll evaporate as he is currently scored 16th when he re-enters here, so actually out of the points entirely, but got that looks like 4 cars right up there in front of him. And these guys still all going at it here. This is Mike Nickum trailing Aspen Belvin and Michael Pavolano. Got Dean Tulien, Jesse Brandon, and Clint Fletcher. These guys inseparable all race long. So this is really the closest set of, battles other than race leaders, about 1 second apart right now. So we'll keep an eye all around the racetrack for something to happen here, but this, everywhere outside the top 10 really is up for grabs. So it's going to be interesting here with the second half of this race.
Darren just lost tons of time. He had an issue, not sure what it was, but he slowed down coming out of turn 10.
Take a look here.
Yeah, he just lost pace or locked his brakes or something.
Sounded like he forgot to downshift. It was weird. He definitely, he was just slow, just never got back on the throttle fully there, or the RPMs just never kicked back up. So I wonder if he's having shifter problems too. That would be very unfortunate to happen. I mean, he's now 3 seconds behind, going to be pretty much out of reach.
And now we got a battle for 8th place between Stefan Vappa and Brian Kennedy.
Yeah.
These two were going at it for a little bit here.
And Vappa with a little draft. He's going to send it driver's left, gets alongside the 77. And trying to get back on the throttle there, not able to pull past him. Behind them, though, Jesse Brandon, his sparring partner, Clint Fletcher's lost a spot. Dean Tulien now moves into the top 10. Then Fletcher and Pavolano is closing in on that group, so that could be a 4-car, little pack. Then you got to go back to to Aspen Belvin, about 2 seconds further back. Christopher Hill's gotten up to 14th. He's gotten by Koocher and Mike Nickum. And what seemed a promising start to the night actually started on pole. Jonathan Koocher, he did finish in the points in race 1. He's currently sitting in the points, but he's got damage and not the success that I'm sure he was hoping for after, a great qualifying lap.
Yeah, it seems like after that incident that he had in race 1, he just said, oh, what do we got here?
Clint Fletcher stopped on the racetrack. Did he get turned around? He's got problems right now. Take a look at the replay.
Contact with Dean with the 84.
He spun him around, so we didn't even see Dean Tulien off of the racetrack there, and wonder if words being exchanged, but he's going to be respectful. Good. That is nice to see, these guys giving those spots back to the guys that they take out. Obviously, both of them falling to the tail end of the field here. So that battle dissolves right before our eyes, and I'm sure Jesse Brandon's probably happy about that.
Yeah, now Jesse's got the pressure off him. He can focus on running clean lines and trying his best to catch up with Stephen Vappa, who's about 4.5 seconds ahead of him. Jesse's got the pace, so we might see him make a pass in 3 minutes or such.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this race. 4.3 seconds to make up here. He was 0.8 faster than Vappa, so it could very well get up there and mix it up with the 97 now without that pressure. Adam Pohl up here into 6th. He had problems early on in race 1, but has recovered nicely here in race 2. Could be challenging for a top 5. And that's always a confidence booster, even if you kind of get the wind knocked out of your sails early on. If you can recover, that really restores your confidence as a driver, I think.
And now looking at the points leader before coming into this race, Christopher Hill, he made just a couple of gained a couple of positions up to 12th place, running about 3 to 4 seconds faster than the guys ahead of him. So we might see a battle brewing once he catches them.
Yeah, if he is that much faster, he could very well track down Aspen Belvin and Jesse Brandon up there in 9th. I mean, that's a little ways to go, but if those guys make mistakes like they have been, he could be right up there battling for a top 10, and that would save him a ton of points from what looked like it could have been a disastrous race 2. As Adam Pohl all over the back bumper of Aaron Dietrich here. 4.5 minutes left through the chicane. Headed towards the final corner here. 17 right in the sights. That 19, that rear view mirror full of the neon green and red machine.
Flashing his lights at him, just trying to intimidate him to make a mistake into turn 1.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if that's a tactic or if they're doing that just knowing that, oh, they're going to try and send it down into the corner there. Try and make them aware, like, hey, I'm here. I think it's almost more of a distraction tactic. Oh!
He loses the back end?
Saved it. Right where he had the problem in race 1.
That allows Brian Kennedy to close up into him and battle as well with these guys.
And just about 8/10 back. Brian Kennedy has been on the recovery road here, I think, in this one. After going off the racetrack a little while ago. Up to 7th again. And Christopher Hill back here as he's starting to put the pressure on Michael Pabolano. Pabolano picked up the lap time quite a bit from the previous lap. He's back in the 157s, but still 1.4 seconds slower than Christopher Hill. Question is, can that 101 make a pass cleanly here? Is he going to struggle with the dirty air on his nose? Battle for 4th developing. Alan Crocker, Reed Wilson. So Alan has had a really great night. Finished race 1 in 5th, battling for a podium right here. Reed Wilson would love to get up there on the podium as well. Started 7th in this race, so he's been a big mover. Adam Pohl, I think, our biggest, up 6. Brandon up 5. Aspen Belvin up 9 positions, actually. He's the biggest mover.
Yeah, guys from race. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the Koocher got around Christopher Hill. So Hill losing a spot, actually. What were you going to say about race control?
No, I was going to say, like, after learning from race 1, you see Reed Wilson now knowing what to do in this race, and he's gaining a little bit of time the first part of this racetrack. Kalen Crocker, he's pulling away from Reed on the second part of the racetrack, so you can see him applying the pressure here, turns 3 and 4. But Crocker, he's doing a great job on the second part, just pulling away.
I think that kind of early section of the racetrack, those kind of tight chicanes, S-bends, I think there's a lot of aerodynamics that come into play, and you could see that gap open up, and really just Reed could not make the corner as well as Callan, who's got a lot cleaner air out in front of him. But the gap now on the straightaway starting to close back up again, and we'll see if he can put pressure on before they get to the white flag. That would be the final step of the podium. But Rafael Torres, no worries for him. He's got 4.3 seconds and going to try and take the win here in Sprint Race 2. Darren Treacle's had his share of issues here in the second half of this one, has lost touch after winning Sprint Race 1, but really a strong night for him. I think he entered 2nd or 3rd in points, so he'll make up quite a bit here on Christopher Hill.
Yeah, Darren, last lap, he made a mistake coming into turn 13, just overcooked it and didn't make the corner very well.
Adam Pohl off the track, racing with Brian Kennedy, I believe. Let's go take a look at what happened there. Oh, head on into the wall. Did he just lose the back end? Oh, same problem as Christopher Hill. Same spot and hard hit. Oh, man. That's going to cost him a lot here. He came in, I believe, 2nd in points tonight, or he's right up there in the mix at least.
Yeah, Adam was 27 points behind Christopher Hill. Christopher probably is happy to see Adam having a little bit of issues. That way the points deficit wouldn't affect him that much.
As we are on the final lap, Rafael Torres looking for his first sprint win of the season. And it'd be our 4th winner so far here this season in the M4 GT3s. Battle for the podium still going on. Reed Wilson trying to close in on Callan Crocker. Still about 6.5 tenths between those two, but he's closing up a little bit right now. Cuts it down to 5.5, but on the throttle that time, Callan much better Back on the gas, back up to 3/4 of a second there. Farther back, Michael Pavolano, Jonathan Koocher. This is a gaggle of race cars here behind Aspen Belvin. Christopher Hill right in the mix of this. He's got to be careful not to get involved in anything. And a few more corners remaining for all of these guys here. Just one final lap. And this is where you might see some problems. Koocher sends it down in. Almost able to clear Pavolano. He does. And now that opens the door for Christopher Hill to fight alongside Pavolano. He'll back out. Try and pull a crossover. Pavolano a little offline right there. While out in front, Rafael Torres coming through the final corner. Finished sprint race 1 in 2nd place. He'll win sprint race 2 from the Nürburgring. The 777 flashing the lights there in celebration. Darren Treacle exiting the final corner. He'll finish 2nd in the battle for the podium position. Final spot in 3rd is going to be Callan Crocker out dueling Reed Wilson. Great battle there. Farther back, Brian Kennedy not able to make the move around Aaron Dietrich. Then Adam Pohl, he'll fall to 9th in the late stages of this race. And Aspen Belvin, Christopher Hill able to get around Pavolano and Koocher, who must have had problems. As Christopher Hill moves all the way up to 11th at the end of this. Pavolano has to go down pit road here. He finishes in 12th, I think, or close to there. Koocher issues late in this race. Didn't even catch it. Oh, yeah, big contact, I think. Taking a look at the replay. All right, where we've seen issues. The same spot. Almost had it saved, and the huge hit. The Pavolano, though, he just he lost the spot to Christopher Hill. I think that's all it was. He just lost some ground.
He just went into the pits.
Yeah, I don't
No
understand.
issues at all.
I don't really know what happened there. So Pavolano with problems, but how about Rafael Torres here in race 2? View of him. He is going to win sprint race number 2 tonight, so congrats to him on that. Going to see if we can pull him in with the top 3, and we're going to say Aspen Belvin, driver of the day, up 10 spots here in race 2, as he's done so much this season. He has just climbed so many positions throughout the night. But let's take a look here with race winner Rafael Torres, who dominates race 2. Pull him right into the booth. Lead away. Rafael Torres, Adam and safe in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Copy.
Well, Rafael, it started out a little bit rough here tonight. You were right up there. You had the pace, and you were closing in on Darren in race 1. Ultimately finished that race in 2nd. You win sprint race number 2 in dominating fashion. How does it feel to come out of here with this result tonight?
I love turtles.
Yeah, I think we
feels
all
good. Feels good, man. Feels good to be running up run. Unfortunately, I don't like the way because Chris, he was handicapped. He had some hardware issues. So pretty much, if he would have been running top notch, he would have been probably up here. 2nd, 3rd, maybe P1. But it feels good. What can I say? I love turtles.
And obviously shows here great performance from you here in both races. Get your first sprint race win of the season, so that must be pretty satisfying. And we do head to Coda next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Pretty good. I love that track in real life and on the sim. I kind of like it. I hope I do well. I hope I don't touch again with Jonathan, because I didn't like to touch him. There was like a little love tap there. So I hope not to do that, and hope to be running up front and just clean race. That's what I hope for.
Yes, sir. We'll hope you can accomplish that and see if you can go back to back out there. But you win sprint race number 2. You lead every single lap here in this 2nd race. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for that?
Well, Scott, for putting the league together, all the guys that run it, The new guys, they're running the league. Everybody's doing great. Everybody for being patient with me, trying to find my pace, find my mojo after many years. Friends and family.
Awesome, Raphael. Well, congrats on the sprint race win as well as the good result there in race number 1, and we'll catch you next week.
Sure.
All right, that is Raphael Torres. Let's go to second place finisher now. That's going to be Darren Treacle. And Safe, you want to give it a shot here and ask him a few questions?
Yeah, sure thing. Darren, Darren, this is Safe from the V-Speed booth. Do you have a copy?
I do. How are you?
Good, Darren. Well, amazing Heat 1, where you dominated the race and came out with a win. Race 2 wasn't so fortunate for you. Lost the lead there coming into turn 1, and then we saw you having a couple of issues throughout the race where you're losing pace or you just lost speed. Talk us through of what you've been experiencing with race 2.
So I lost the battle there at the beginning, but I went a little wide in the fast left-right chicane there, going, I guess, back up towards the start, and dropped the tire and got a slowdown. So that just put enough time between me and Raf that I wasn't going to make it up. Then I started over driving and just wasn't driving good. So I just kind of backed it down and knew I wasn't going to catch him. So just kind of hung out where I was just to get through the race. It's not my favorite combo of car and track, but I managed to salvage the night. And it's a little challenging to get back into iRacing after being at the real track racing for a week. So we're about 5 days or 4 or 5 days. So, but I got through it. So.
Yeah, definitely sim racing is way different than real life racing, and it just throws you off coming back onto the computer sim and trying to race with these guys who put hours and hours into it and run the way that they run. However, you did run a great race, winning heat number 1 with dominating fashion. Unfortunately, not enough to catch Raphael in race number 2. Nevertheless, awesome job, Darren, and congratulations on
Thank you.
Good points night for you.
Yeah, it was a good night. I'm happy with how it went. So everybody had good pace, and Chris, he was handicapped. He was shifting with his keyboard, so he was doing an amazing job with that. So yeah, no, it was a good night.
Yeah, Adam and I were wondering what he did to have that fixed, and he did a tremendous job to come back from it and getting a good result in Heat 1. Unfortunately, he didn't do so well in race number 2. Next week, we head to Coda. What are your thoughts about it, and how are you going to prepare yourself for it?
Coda is one of those tracks I probably have like a love-hate relationship type with, It's a good track. It's a tough track. It's probably not the best track for a car like this. I mean, it is a traditional F1 track. So if you had a lot of aero, it would be good. There's some sausage curves that can take you out if you hit them. But usually I do fairly well there. So it'd be fun, and I'll do a little bit of practice. Sometimes I don't do much until Wednesday night. So, but I'll try to squeeze a little bit in. And actually, you know what? Thinking back, I might not make it next week anyway because I'll be at a race. So with all that said, I might not be there. But that's what I'll do if I was going to be there.
Well, we sure hope to see you next week, because the way you guys have been running, you guys throw one awesome of a race for us to watch here. Makes it really exciting.
Yes, we try.
Darren, before I let you go, any shout out you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my insurance agency, Treacle Insurance Agency, and then Sten over at Beltway Brewery, SEO Mike for jumping on board to sponsor us, Scott for putting this together, and you guys for doing such a good broadcast.
Well, we thank you for that, Darren, and again, congratulations on P1 race 1 and P2 in race 2.
Thank you.
All right, that's Darren Treacle, second place finisher in race 2, like you said, and winner of sprint race number 1. So good night for him. Go to third place finisher now. That's going to be Callan Crocker. And Callan, this is Adam and Safe in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad, man. A great set of races here for you. You finished 5th in race 1, and you end up on the podium here in race number 2. Obviously learned something out there, and you had quite a battle with Reed there in the last 5 to 10 minutes of that one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. First podium for me in this league, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I was getting in the first race. It was with Brian Kennedy, and then the second one was with I think Dean. So it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a lot of exciting racing. You know, challenging racetrack for everybody here, but we saw some good side-by-side battles, and man, you withstood the pressure there in the last bit of that race. So really fun to watch you guys fight it out. But we go to Coda next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Oof, I do not like Coda personally. It's great. It's a great F1 track, but not terribly fantastic for street cars. So I've driven it, not in real life, on the sim. We've done a couple endurance races out there, but yeah, we'll see how next week goes. It might be my drop week. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not my favorite place either, but we'll see. You know, you guys might be able to put on a nice show for us. You've done it every week so far, so looking forward to it, at least, you know, from a broadcast perspective. But might be a challenge. We'll see if you're up to it. But great podium finish here in race 2 and the top 5 in race 1. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just the normal folks that put this together. Really appreciate it. My teammates, Justin Craig, he's in the league too. Other teammates, Will and Steven, they help me and get me ready for this kind of stuff. And then my girlfriend, she's the best. She feeds me and makes me ready for race night. So that's very important for me. But yeah, it was great race.
Yeah, definitely important to be fueled before you jump in the sim, especially these pretty intense races like this. But congrats on the podium finish again. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Callan Crocker, and then last interview of the night. If Belvin is around here, so we'll go to him for driver of the day. Again, one of our biggest movers here in race number 2. Always seems to find some spots late in the going in these races, so we'll put him in. Aspen Belvin, Adam and Safe in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. And man, again, a big mover here in this series. You somehow find spots out of nowhere, seemingly, but you got a top 10 here in race number 2 after starting all the way back in 20th. Man, describe the second race, what you learned, and you know, how you were able to gain so many spots.
Man, the first race, I was not happy after the first one, and went out there in the second race with a little aggression, and about halfway I started to calm down a little bit, and then started getting mixed up with there was a little pack in front of me, caught up to them, and it was just game on all the way to the end after that. But yeah, just had to calm myself down and pay attention to what I was doing.
Yeah, definitely very exciting. You know, around you, there's battles right there inside the top 10 and outside the top 10. You were right between all of them. So definitely fun to watch. And again, just big mover. It's been fun to watch you make up all these spots in all these races. So congrats again on a really solid drive up into the top 10. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's race?
Yeah, I want to give out a shout out to National Capital Chapter and Scott for putting this on every weekend. And it's just been an absolute blast. Shout out to everybody else that helps support this and everything else.
Awesome, Aspen. Well, congrats on the top 10 here. A real fun watch to drive up into that spot. And we'll catch you next week at Coda.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right. That is Aspen Belvin. What a race from him, and really entertaining race overall. I hope you enjoyed it up here in the booth, Safe. This is what I get to do, you know, week after week. And thanks for joining me up here, and hope you had some fun.
It definitely has been fun for me. First time doing it, a different perspective for me than being behind the wheel. Watching these guys race from up here, watching these close battles and different characteristics with their driving. Definitely happy, and it was a pleasure of mine to join you in the booth. Looking forward to do that more often with you.
Yeah, definitely welcome up here anytime. And I know you love the road racing side of things, and you got a lot more experience doing that than I do. So you got some good insights here, I think, to contribute, and did a good job here tonight. So let's go through the results of this awesome set of races tonight. Rafael Torres, he wins sprint race number 2. Darren Treacle will finish sprint race 2 in second. Callan Crocker 3rd. Reed Wilson 4th. Aaron Dietrich 5th. Brian Kennedy 6th. Stefan Vapa 7th. Jesse Brannon 8th. 9th was Adam Pohl, and Aspen Belvin rounds out the top 10. 11th is Christopher Hill. Good recovery from him. Jonathan Koocher finishes 12th. Justin Craig 13th. Birkin Dogdu in 14th. Dean Tulane 15th. Clint Fletcher 16th. Michael Pabolano 17th. Robert Benson 18th. Mike Nickham in 19th. Scott Kim rounds out race 2 in 20th. And 21st in this one was Donnie Eiley, who I do not believe took, I don't, either he or Scott Kim actually took the green flag here in sprint race. They're not going to be scored with any points or start in this one. But fantastic event tonight again from this league. We do want to congratulate our top 3 and winner Rafael Torres here in sprint race 2, his first of the season. And again, the sponsors, SEO Mike, Beltway Brewing Company. If you're interested in them, want to learn more, check them out in the video description. Thank you so much for tuning in here on B-Speed. We always appreciate it, and hope you come back to join us next week, Tuesday and Thursday, for our broadcasts. Then, till then, have a great night.